Neither.
Good morning. We are here with Nicole Sommavilla, anchor and reporter from News Channel 9. And she's here to tell us a little bit about her struggle with chronic Lyme disease. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So if you guys haven't seen, they produced at News Channel 9 a great segment called Living with Lyme, where Nicole details her story and her struggle. But now I'm going to just ask you a couple questions about what you're dealing with now and how you're doing so well and so much good work with this. In your video, you seem to put a lot of your focus into staying active. How important is that for you?
I think it's everything, because I think a lot of it, it also mental health comes into play. So I think if you're not staying active and you have those bad days, it's really easy to sit there and almost feel sorry for yourself. So I think the more active you can be without pushing yourself too much can actually help you and give you more energy and just kind of lift your mood too. I used to do boxing so much, I ended up finding that was a little too intense for me. So now I do yoga and bar workouts, running, walking. I think just getting outside just lifts your mood too. And it's better than just sitting there. It's harder some days to push yourself to do it, but I always feel better when I do.
Right. Yeah. And so do you find that when you are doing these exercises, that if you do start a new rigorous exercise routine, that can sometimes set you back? Or has it always just helped? Because I found with myself, it sometimes when I take it a little bit too far, go a little too hard, I end up taking 2 steps back.
Yeah, I definitely find that too. So it's hard to find the balance, especially if you feel really good and you want to push yourself. Sometimes you end up pushing yourself a little too much.
Right. Exactly. So what would you say is one of the most frustrating parts of this illness for you, in the years that you've battled it?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I know.
I think it's twofold. I think one of the most frustrating parts is that I'm limited. And I think the other part of that is that people don't always know because you can't see it on the outside. So you look healthy and people don't understand why you can't go to a party or go to some event, or just meet people. Even for a walk some days, you just need to take that time for yourself to relax. And I think not knowing when you're going to have a flare is the other most frustrating part, because you could feel so good for weeks or months. I mean, I felt good for the past 4 months, which I think is the longest I've ever gone. And then I had a flare out of nowhere that lasted for somewhere between 5 to 7 days. So it comes out of nowhere and you think you're doing so well, and then you just have to take a step back and listen to your body. And just being limited, I think, as an active person who's always kind of spread herself thin, is really hard to do.
Right. And just listening and reacting as it comes along. It's never
Yeah,
consistent.
no.
And in battling this horrible thing, have you found any treatment regimen or specific herbal supplement or anything that you count on a daily basis to really help alleviate some of your symptoms?
Meloxicam right now. That's the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really helped the joint pain, but it took a few months actually for it to really start working. I kept telling my doctor, I don't think it's doing anything. And he said, just give it time to build up in your system. But I tried so many different regimens. I did high intense antibiotics. I did rifampin, which really made me feel sick. And that was one that you needed to get your blood checked every 5 days. So that one, I don't even know if it was worth it. But at that point, I tried so many more conservative things. But at this point, I'm trying really hard to just work with herbs. And turmeric has been great. Curcumin, I think, is just a stronger version of that. My mom actually just sent me some type of mushroom blend to help with the immune system. And I don't know if that's actually helping my immune system or not. And those are tough too, because they're not FDA approved or regulated. So
Right.
you don't really know exactly what you're getting and how your body's going to react. But the meloxicam has definitely helped my joint pain.
Oh, it's good to hear.
Yeah, ask your
Um,
doctor about it.
yeah, I will. I'm taking notes for myself here as well. Um, so I think the most important question that I have is what's some advice that you have for someone like you or I, that has been told that it's all in your head, or um, you're feeling something that's not there. because that can be very discouraging for people who don't have the right medical support or just support team around them. Do you have any advice for
Yeah,
those people?
it's so discouraging. I mean, I spent 4 years looking for a diagnosis, and everybody told me, you're just an active college student. You have anxiety. Maybe you're depressed. And when you know that's not it, it almost makes you feel like you have nowhere to go. But I think just having that support system and just trusting and believing in yourself and being your own advocate is one of the most important things. If you know your body and you know that something is wrong, don't let somebody else tell you that it's not there. Just find a doctor. Just keep finding doctors. I went through dozens before I found anybody who would listen to me and give me a diagnosis. So they're out there. And if you know something's wrong, just don't give up on yourself.
Awesome. And I noticed that you do have a website up. Could you tell me a little bit about what you're doing on that website?
Yeah, so that is my kind of work professional website for journalism, where I just kind of share some of the work I've done in the Syracuse community. And I decided to just add a Living with Lyme page up there too, because well, I think for a while I kind of grappled with, do I share this with viewers? Do I disclose this to my employer? And I started thinking, if somebody down the road is going to end up saying, I'm not going to hire you because you have this disease, then that's not a person I want to work for anyway.
Right.
So if I can just add these videos and share my story with people, whoever sees it, I think it could help just to know that you're not alone. There are so many people battling this cruel, awful disease. And I think the more that people talk about it and normalize it can help just change the stigma and help people get the help they need too.
Great. And we're going to provide a link to both the website and the story that you guys produced over at News Channel 9. You are awesome and an inspiration and helping people like me and everybody else is struggling every day. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. So are you. And the alliance is great. So I'm happy to see it off the ground and doing so much to help people in our community.